Beruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Mem Gimel Amud Beis, starting with Mem Gimel Amud Aleph, 2 lines from the bottom. The Gemara previously posed the following question in regards to Tchum. Do we say Tchum, the laws of 2,000 amos applies when it is above Asar Tfachim and does not have a space of Dalet Tfachim? In regards to the distance a person can travel, maybe he can travel more than 2,000 amos if it's higher than Asar Tfachim. Also, another nafka mina would be, where does he begin his makom shavisa? If he's above 10 Tfachim, maybe therefore he doesn't then begin the place where we start measuring from until he then descends to a place that's lower than Asar Tfachim. For example, when it comes to a svina, normally a svina is on the water, floating above 10 tfachim, whereby there's no issue of tchumim when it comes to the svina. Or do we say yes, that in regards to tchum, even if it's above asar tfachim, all of the rules and laws apply as well. Says the Gemara, Toshma, the Gemara wants to bring a proof. Hareini nazir Biyoim she ben David bo. A person declares a neder. He makes a neder that he's going to become a nazir on the day that Mashiach will come. Mutar lishtois yayin b'shabos yomim tovim. A nazir who is normally prohibited from drinking wine, thereby, since he makes a neder of nazirus on the day that Mashiach comes, he can, yes, drink wine on Shabbos and Yontif. We're on top of Mem Gimel Amud Beis. Va'aser lishtos yayin kol yemois hachol. But he would be prohibited from drinking wine all the other days of the week. In other words, there's no possibility, the Bryce is telling us, that Mashiach will come on Shabbos and Yontif, and therefore when he declares that he's a Nazir on Shabbos, on the day that Mashiach comes, he could, yes, drink on Shabbos or on Yontif. If you want to say that there is a concept of tchumim above asar tfachim, then it's very good. Then we can understand why it's mutter for the nazir to drink, for the person who declared a nazirus, to drink on Shabbos and Yontif. Because after all, then we understand that since there is the concept of tchumim, therefore Mashiach would not come on Shabbos and Yontif. He would not transgress the Tchum. So why would it be mutter? The Gemara says, Shiny Hasim, you have no proof from this Braisa that indeed we can say that Tchumim is above Asar Tfachim as well. Because the Omar Kro, Hine Anoichi Sholeach Lochem Es Eliyahu Hanavi, and the Pasuk goes on to say, Lifnei boy Yoim Hashem hagodol v'hanoiro. Says the Gemara, V'hol lo yasi Eliyahu me'esmo. In order for Mashiach to come, he has to be preceded by Eliyahu the day before to announce the coming of the Mashiach, to prepare the people and their hearts for the coming of the Mashiach. And therefore, since Eliyahu did not come the day before, therefore he's not coming the day after. Then Mashiach is not coming the day after. Ihochi asked the Gemara, then bechol kol yoyma v'yoyma nami lishtri. Then the same thing should be true when it comes to every other day of the week. Dehol loy asa Eliyahu me'esmo. Since we didn't see Eliyahu Navi coming the day before, therefore the Mashiach is not coming that day afterwards, whereby a person who made such a neder of nazirus could, yes, drink on that day as well. Elo rather must be amrinon lebezdin hagodol also. Rather, we're saying that he comes in the Bezdin. That's where Eliyahu Navi comes, and yet we did not know about it. Therefore, it's going to be problematic for a person who made such a neder to drink on any other day of the Chol. Ask the Gemara, then Hochanami lema lebezdin also. Then say the same thing Gabe Shabbos. That maybe he came the day before, and we don't know about it because he came to the Beis Din HaGodol. Says the Gemara, no, kvar muvtach lohen li Yisrael she'ein Eliyahu bo loy be'avei Shabbos v'loy be'arvei yomim tovim mibnei haTorah. We have a Messiah that Mashiach will not come on Shabbos, because Eliyahu will not come on Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif. Why? Since Klal Yisrael is busy preparing for the onset of Shabbos and Yontif, all of those Shabbos and Yontif preparations, the covered Shabbos and covered Yontif that is required on Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif, will then preclude Eliyahu Navi from coming because of the tircha. Since they would want to come out and be Makabel Pnei Eliyahu Navi, and since that would take them away from their preparations, therefore we have a Masar that Eliyahu would not come on Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif. Ask the Gemara, if it goes up on your mind that Eliyahu Hanavi will not come on Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif, then Mashiach Nami Lo Osi, then the Mashiach also will not come, because the same thing would be true equally. People would want to then be Mekabel Pnei Mashiach, certainly, and because of Tircha, of preparation for Shabbos and Yontif, they wouldn't be able to do so. So it can't be that Mashiach can come on Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif either. B'malid Shabto Lishtri, and therefore on Erev Shabbos it should be mutter for the one who took the neder that he can drink on Erev Shabbos and who had an Erev Yontif. Says the Gemara, Eliyahu Lo Osi, although Eliyahu Hanavi will not come on Erev Shabbos or Erev Yontif, but Mashiach Osi. Mashiach would come on Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif. Why? Hare, we just said that Klal Yisrael would Makabel Pnei Eliyahu, then certainly they'll come to Makabel Pnei Mashiach, and that will then mafriya, that will then interrupt the tircha. There'll be a tircha of the Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif. The Gemara explains the kivan the Osi Mashiach Hakol Avodim Hein Li Yisrael. Once Mashiach comes, everybody will recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and everybody will recognize Klal Yisrael as being the ones who were chosen by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, his close ones. Thereby everybody, all the nations will also want to then serve Klal Yisrael, whereby they'll then have help for Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif. So Mashiach could come on Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif, although Eliyahu cannot come. Ask the Gemara, B'cha Shabo Lishteri. On Sunday, therefore, you should be matir that the one who took the neder can drink on Yom Rishon. And yet the Brisa said before that he cannot. Why not? Lifshot mino de ein techumim. The Gemara wants to prove from here the other way, that there is no techumim when it comes to above asar tfachim, because the yesh techumim becha b'shaba lishtri deloy osi Eliyahu b'shabbos. Because if indeed there was techumim above Shabbos, above asar tfachim, then Eliyahu would not be able to come on Shabbos, whereby the next day, then Mashiach would not come, whereby it would be mutter to then drink, for the person to then make that neder to drink on Yom Rishon. Since the Brisa says it's not, it must be that ein techumin above asar tfachim. Says the Gemara, Hai Tana sefuke mesafkele im yesh tchumim oy ein tchumim. This Tana has a suffix, this Tana of the Brisa, whether we say tchumim above asar tfachim or not. And therefore, ulechumra, he goes lechumra. In other words, he says maybe there is no tchumim, and therefore Eliyahu Navi could come, whereby Mashiach will come the next day. And that's why it's also to drink on Sunday. He goes lechumra. On the other hand, we cannot suggest that indeed there for sure is not Techumim above Asar Tfachim, and therefore a person would then have to abide by the laws of Techumim above Asar Tfachim. Ask the Gemara, based on this Brisa, the Kai Em Emas, when indeed is this person making the neder? We said the person making a neder of Nazirus, at which point in time is he making that neder? The Koi neder, Ilemo the koi bechol, kiven the kachal aleh nazirus heichi asi shabto umafkelei. If he's standing and making the neder during the week, whereby we're saying that it could be that he has a nazirus that will be chal on the week, because after all Mashiach can come during the week, then how could he go ahead and drink yain on Shabbos? It would already be chal his nazirus. Elo, it must be the koi b'shabta v'kanada. He's on Shabbos itself making such a neder. Then we say on that very day of Shabbos, or if it was Yontif, he then can go ahead and drink wine, but subsequently not. Uv'yom tov v'kanada v'hahu yoimehu deshorile Mikan ve'elech asur le. On that day of Shabbos, or on that day of Yantiv, where he makes the neder, he can go ahead and drink. But all the other Shabbosas or Yomim Tovim afterwards, he would not be able to drink. The Gemara now goes on the Seifa of the Mishnah that talks about a case where the Chachamim were on a boat, and the boat was coming close to the port, and it only arrived in the port after Tzeis HaKoichavim, on the onset of Shabbos. So the question was, were they within the Techum of the port on the onset of Shabbos or not? Whereby the question is, well, could they go down from the boat on Shabbos? Or is there an issue of Tchumim? Says the Gemara, and the Mishnah had said that Rabbi Gamliel, he paskined that they could, yes, go down, because he said that he saw and measured on the onset of Shabbos that they were within 2,000 amos. So says the Gemara, bringing the following brisa. Tana, shifoferes haiso loy leRabbi Gamliel. Rabbi Gamliel had a certain tube, a hollowed out tube, Shahaya mabit v'tzoife ba'alpaim amma b'yabosha u'kineg da alpaim b'yam, where he was able to then look and ascertain 2,000 amos of the dry land, and then kineged that determine 2,000 amos of the yam. Haroitze leido kama oimkoi shogai. If a person wants to know what is the depth of a valley, the Brisa continues, Meivi shifaferes umabit bo v'yeda kama oimkoi shogai. He will take a hollowed out tube, and he will then look and determine the depths of the guy. And when he'll do that, he'll be able to then measure and determine the depths of those of the valley. The Brisa continues. A person wants to know the height of a dekel tree, of a palm tree. He should measure the height of the tree. Meaning what? And he wants to know the height of the tree, so he should measure what the kaima as well as its shade, and then he'll make a ratio of the shade to the tree. Then he'll be able to determine based on that ratio what is going to be the height of that tree. In order to make it so that a chaya ra, an animal, does not try to get shade on top of a kever, because if he did, then he would smell that there's a dead body underneath, and he'll then come to then dig it out. So in order that he should not then get refuge from on top of a kever, so what do we do in order to then prevent that from happening? It says like this: we have to make a mound. How will we determine the height of the mound so that the animal will not come and then stay on top of the kever for a period of time trying to get shade from the sun? He should then take a stick and stick it in on the 4th hour of the day, which is most sunny part of the day, and determine where is the shade. Where is that sail going to then be noite? Where is it going to be then going towards? And then he should then then he should then determine the slope, and then he should make his mound so that then the animal will not then find its refuge from the sun in that place. And that will then make it so that he will then prevent the animal from coming, because since the earlier part of the most sunniest part of the day is then, so once he finds refuge in another place, he won't come back to then that area of the kever. He already found refuge somewhere else. So this will prevent the animal from coming on top of the kever and then coming to dig out the kever.